The British royal family is one of the most famous dynasties in the world. To millions, they represent tradition, pageantry, and unimaginable riches. Palaces, castles, ceremonies, and lavish weddings have long created the impression that the monarchy lives among the wealthiest people on the planet. But where does all this money really come from? And how did the monarchy's unusual financial system begin? It did not begin in England, but in Germany. In 1714, the crown of Great Britain passed to George I of Hanover, the first in a line of German-born kings. Over the next century, these monarchs gained a reputation for extravagance. George IV in particular spent lavishly on palaces, parties, and personal indulgences. By the mid-18th century, the monarchy was drowning in debt. To prevent collapse, George III struck a deal with Parliament in 1760. He surrendered ownership of crown lands in exchange for a fixed annual income. That arrangement laid the foundation for today's sovereign grant, the taxpayer-funded allowance that still supports the monarchy's activities. Today, the royal family's wealth rests on three main pillars: inheritance, duchies, and the crown estate. Some royal wealth is entirely private, passed down through generations. Balmoral Castle in Scotland and Sandringham House in Norfolk were both purchased by Queen Victoria in the 19th century and remain privately owned by her descendants. Today, they belong to King Charles III and will remain his property even if he were to abdicate. The second pillar is the system of duchies. The Duchy of Lancaster provides income to the reigning monarch, while the Duchy of Cornwall supports the heir to the throne. These vast estates include castles, farmland, villages, and profitable commercial holdings. Together, they generate more than £40 million every year. At present, King Charles benefits from the Duchy of Lancaster, while Prince William is the sole recipient of Cornwall's revenues, which also help fund his family's expenses. The third and largest pillar is the Crown Estate, valued in the billions. It includes Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, and even the seabed around the United Kingdom. But unlike the duchies, the Crown Estate does not belong personally to the monarch. Its profits are surrendered to the government, and in return, the monarch receives the sovereign grant worth around £132 million a year as of 2025. That money pays for official duties such as travel, staff salaries, and the maintenance of royal residences. It does not go directly into the king's private fortune. Because the sovereign grant is funded by taxpayers, it has long been a source of controversy. In 1992, disaster struck Windsor Castle, one of the official residences of the British monarch. A devastating fire tore through its historic rooms, causing extensive damage. The restoration project took 5 years to complete and cost £36.5 million. The fire had far-reaching consequences. To help fund the restoration, Queen Elizabeth II, the reigning monarch, agreed to pay tax on her personal income. Buckingham Palace was also open to the public for the same reason, allowing visitors a glimpse into the royal residence. The tragedy at Windsor became a defining moment in what the Queen herself would later describe as her annus horribilis, Latin for horrible year. More recently, the refurbishment of Frogmore Cottage, the former residence of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, at a cost of £2.5 million, ignited fresh criticism. Supporters of royal funding argue that the monarchy pays for itself through tourism, diplomacy, and cultural influence. Critics insist it is an outdated privilege in a modern democracy. In 2020, Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties. Contrary to popular belief, only about 5% of their income had come from the sovereign grant. The vast majority came from the Duchy of Cornwall. By leaving royal life, they gave up that income and many of the privileges of their roles. They did, however, retain their private wealth. Harry's inheritance from Princess Diana, Meghan's earnings from her acting career, and later, their high-profile deals with companies such as Netflix and Spotify. Their departure raised difficult questions about the balance between duty, privilege, and personal independence within the monarchy. Despite an estimated personal fortune of around £610 million, King Charles is far from one of the world's richest individuals. Much of the monarchy's aura of wealth comes not from liquid assets, but from its estates, traditions, and carefully cultivated image. In truth, the royal family today wields little direct political power. Its influence lies in symbolism, diplomacy, and a brand that remains one of the most recognizable in the world. The financial structure that sustains the monarchy was born out of the extravagance of German kings 3 centuries ago. It has survived wars, scandals, fires, and fierce public debate, and today it continues to raise the same question: should a modern nation still pay for its royals? The British royal family may not be the richest dynasty on earth, but few can claim a fortune as deeply entangled with history and as fiercely debated as Britain's monarchy.